Hello, hello, hello. How are y'all doing tonight? It is good to be back in the building again. Hey, Miss Coffee and Savannah. How y'all doing tonight? It's good to be back here again. Hey, Shalissa. Hi, how is everybody doing tonight? It's good to see y'all back again. Thank you all for joining over here with Life with Tashana, where life has been lifing lately. And so I just came back. Hey, Kajaria. I came on tonight to do like a little update. You all can ask some questions. I may drop the link or something, whatever, if necessary. But I feel like I'm in a much better place. And I'm just gonna get right into it. Hey everybody. Hi, hi, hi. I just want to say encouragement has been coming from every single corner that I can even think of. Listen, I even was watching a video the other day and somebody came through there called Self Love Yourself. If that ain't encouragement, I mean, this was the person's name, Miss Coffee. You may even know them because you was in the chat. You was in the same chat as they are. I'm not saying that you actually know them, but this person's name in the chat was Self Love Yourself, which was very, encouraging in the time when you need it. On the days that it was there to be encouraging for me. Not only that, just other things, seeing that people said that don't have no idea that I'm in the place that I'm going through, and just to go around and be able to read certain things and see that there's encouragement everywhere when nobody even knows that you're encouraging. So I'm going to say thank you all for all of the encouragement and everything that you all have given to me to go through the process and get it, girl. So one of the things I want to talk about is my first day coming back home was on Monday. When I came home on Monday, home did not feel like home. My kids did not approach me. It was almost as if they didn't know who I was. And I posted it a little bit about that. They was like a little standoffish to didn't have a lot to say to me, as if I was like a little alien or something that came there. So when I first came home, there was a thought in my head that, you know, could he have said something to the kids to make them do this way? Hey, growing with Hudson, how you doing? Been growing for us because I ain't been growing much of anything. I just kind of been looking at other people's stuff. I'm gonna get to it because I'm about to skip all over everything, just seeing you all and everything and saying hi. But when I first came home, like nothing felt like it was home anymore. And I was focused on home is gonna feel like home. Home is gonna feel like home. And when I came home, I was very disappointed. Nothing went the way that I visually thought. I thought that it was going to be. I rode through to go and look and see what the garden looked like. Disappointing again. The garden looks horrible. And I'm gonna let y'all see what it looks like, because I said I'm gonna show you all the good, the bad, and the ugly. So right now the garden is not growing. So I hopefully, while I was trying to grow on the inside, you all kept the garden on the outside growing. Some things here still look really good. But for the most part, the garden what we had started, the big garden back in the back, yeah, disappointing. So but when I came here, like my feelings were really hurt because nothing felt like home anymore. Everything just felt broken. So somebody very, very special said to me, it should not feel like the home that you left. It should not feel. And in the beginning, when I first read it, I was like, it shouldn't feel like home. But then I read a little bit more, and she said, because what you left and what you thought you had is not the same thing that you're coming back for. Why would you want to come back home to the same thing that you already had left before? Everything should feel different because you have now restarted and you have reset. And when she said reset and restart, it gave me something to think about. Again, too, I told you all I had a thought in my head that maybe he had said something to the kids or whatever to make them not respond to me in that way. And I'm not going to say that it didn't happen or whatever, but I did have the conversation and I did ask, did that happen? And he said, no, that didn't happen. He said it was actually shocking to him to see how the kids reacted to me when I came home. So on that part, it did, but and so yesterday was the first time that I had a day to spend with the kids or whatever, and it still was kind of like that same way. But today was a different way, a different day. Like they started like talking more and like getting comfortable or whatever. I'm like, I didn't think that you had to be comfortable, but there was somebody also that came up under one of my videos and said, let me give you another way that you can possibly think about it. And that was, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna read it, because she gave me a new perspective on how to look at what actually was happening. Sometimes that in situations, kids feel like they like in it, but they not actually in it. I ain't growing with Hudson. No, the fruit. The fruit, you know what? I ain't looked at the pineapples, so the pineapples might be pineapple back there. I'm not sure. I haven't checked them. Y'all know we got a whole bunch of those back there. The mango trees are hanging down to the ground. Like they about to touch the ground. They so heavy, but yeah, the fruit are still in there. You have new eyes because your mind is clear. Yeah, amen to that. Growing with Hudson, and I didn't really see it until I read that this, it was a reset. I came back looking for pretty much the same thing that I had gotten before, which is when I read it and I look at it, is kind of crazy to come back looking for the same thing that you just left. So no, I needed that reminder that no, this is a restart and reset, and now you starting on your journey to the new, the new growth. You know what, we talk about growing all the time over here. So it was definitely a restart. Savannah, when the Lord's reset you, it's everything pertaining to you. Absolutely. Hey, Corinne. Sunflower. Hey, hi. They were uncomfortable that you weren't there. And Savannah, that's one of the things that I did not think about. But I'm gonna see, can I find the comment that, and I went straight to it. Elizabeth commented up under the video. She said, if your kids are anything like I used to be as a kid, they may have just felt awkward. I didn't take that into consideration, because I've been around them all their life. Like awkward, not like, why would it? But this situation is different. Like they heard me and their father in an argument or whatever, and it's like they don't know quite which way to go. But it made me feel as if something else had happened, maybe a conversation or whatever. But it says, if your kids are anything like I used to be as a kid, they may have just felt awkward, not knowing what to say to you, and felt low-key guilty because they know you and your husband. I can remember feeling kind of guilty when things weren't right between my parents, even though I wasn't the cause of anything. So when Elizabeth wrote that, it made me start to think outside of the box and a little bit different about how I was feeling about it. Not saying that it did not happen or whatever, I can only go by the words he said, and I trust my husband with everything. Sometimes I'm a little iffy about certain things he say or whatever, but for the most part, I trust him 100%. I definitely trust him with my life for real. But I felt some kind of way that my kids had that response to me when I came, but today has been a lot different. It's like they're falling right back into the place where they were. So, and I guess one of the things that I wrote down here, because I'm trying to keep up with what are you going to talk about? Did we talk? Yes, we did talk. We have not talked to the extent that I want us to. And also a part of me is, I know my husband, he ain't the one that like to answer a whole bunch of questions. And I said that to him. I said, I have a whole bunch of questions for you, but I know that you're not the kind of you ain't the one that want to sit here and answer a whole bunch of questions. And while I was saying that to him, he was in the process of standing up. And when I said it to him, he sat back down as if he was ready to hear me. But then to a part of me, I felt like I had given him or asked him everything that I wanted to ask him in that moment. And so I just went with whatever it was that I felt in that moment, and then I cut it off. But right now, don't mean that I still don't have questions or things that I want to talk about. She hit the nail on the head. I would have thought like you. Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, why are my kids? I mean, it really hurt my feelings. It literally walking inside of the house. Literally, my kids haven't seen me in a month, and everybody's standing around like I'm like a stranger that walked in the house or whatever. And that's when I said, this doesn't even feel like home. And I know I ain't gonna be able to skate around. I'm not gonna skate around it because and I try not to do too much when I'm calling different people's names, because here on YouTube, when you start to call certain people names and stuff, then I don't be wanting nobody to become no target or no nothing like that right there or whatever. But I have to give props where props is due. So Miss Coffee she has encouraged me to know in this process. And she is the one that said to me, she said, Shauna, it's not, nothing is supposed to feel the way that it did before you left here. This is all new. This is a start of a new process. And so when she said it, it like clicked into me as like, dang it, Miss Coffee is right. This is a new situation. Everything is new. So I just want to say thank you, Miss Coffee, for your prayers and your words of encouragement. Not that anybody else didn't encourage me, because I'm telling you, there were other people definitely encouraging me through this situation. But Miss Coffee was the one that she put that light bulb in the socket and turned the light bulb on when it wasn't no light bulb up in the up there in the light switch. It wasn't no light bulb up there. So Miss Coffee came in there. She like, Shauna, let me show you a little bit. Let me put this light bulb up in here, and let me show you a little something. So I thank God for using her to let me think outside of the box and see different than the way that I saw it. So so I told you all how it felt for me to come home. And when I came home on Monday, I spent Monday basically just in the dark, and I just cried and I cried and I cried. Another thing that I want to talk about, and I haven't seen Silky Black on here yet, but Silky Black, I'm gonna talk to Silky Black about it, but she had sent me a Bible verse one day, and y'all know I always tell y'all, if you send me a Bible verse, I may not read it the same day that I get it, but eventually I'm gonna read the Bible verse that you sent to me just to see, what it said. But Silky Black had she gave me a Bible verse, Proverbs 1. One day we're gonna go back and talk about it with Silky Black in here, because I want her to be able to talk to say like where she was coming, but she was watching like something on YouTube that she saw something Proverbs 1, and I think Proverbs 1 is it's 18 and 1. Don't let me get it wrong. It's Proverbs 18 and 1, if I'm not mistaken. Let me make sure I get it right, because I don't want to be saying it wrong. But she sent me a Bible verse. And when she sent me that Bible verse, I was like, oh my goodness, she's talking about me? That's me? Like, I didn't get it at first, right? But I'm gonna tell y'all what Proverbs 18, I think it's 18 and 1. Let me see. Yes, it's Proverbs 18 and 1. And it said, which talks about isolating themselves, which she said, which talks about isolating yourself, which you said you do, which I never thought was a good thing. I might, she thought maybe she might make me upset by saying it. And listen, and I'm just saying this. Eventually, me and Silky Black will talk about it, because she, she like to come on she come on the panel and she talk. My first reaction was when she said it, because all I seen, now I had my sister to read it back to me, because whenever somebody send me something, I'm really trying to get the understanding. My brother is a bishop. Okay, Miss Coffee, I'm gonna read that. Now my brother is and what Silky Black was actually watching, if I had followed what it was that she was telling me about, because she was watching 30 Days of Proverbs. So I'm thinking, if I would have continued with what she was showing me, it would have led me probably right to where you trying to tell me to go to, Miss Coffee. But when she first read it, it was like the first thing that jumped out to me. So I had my sister read it. But when I was reading it to my sister, that Silky Black had sent that to me, and the way I read it, my sister was like, she was doing her nails, and like she turned around to me and she was like, are you offended that she sent that to you? And I was like, I don't know if it's offended, but I feel like this is not me. I said I'm offended by one of the words in there. When you read it, it says one of the words that first jumped out to me was selfish. Now, when it says selfish, I was like, this can't be me. She can't be saying that this is for me or whatever. But I also gave it to my brother. And my sister said, no, I don't think you should. And that's Shalissa. I'm talking at this time, I'm talking to Shalissa. Shalissa was like, no, it wasn't to offend you or anything. She was like, I understand what she said, but remember, I'm the one in the process. So I'm taking this stuff in and I'm taking it for what I see it right at first. So now I got to dig into it. So now I sent it to my brother, who is a bishop. And I told him, I said, can you read this? Can you read this, Bishop? And tell me what you think about it. He said, all right, give me 5 minutes. I'll call you back. So my brother called me back and he says, I can see if you got a little offended by what it said. He said, but you are the one that said you isolate yourself. He said, that is one thing. He said, but another thing is, he said, I could see how somebody would believe that, but if a person doesn't know you, they only know you for what you put out on YouTube, and you're saying that you isolating yourself, she's hitting the nail right on the head. I said, but she doesn't know who you are outside of YouTube and all the things that you do, for her to know that this part is definitely a part of your process, because that's all you've been doing is giving yourself away, and nothing coming back into you. He say, so it is a time that's going to come where you have to be selfish. So in that way, but once me and Silky Black get together and like we'll have the conversation, it'll make more sense. But I think she was trying to get me to go, and now that I'm thinking about it, I think I may go back and watch whoever it was a lady that was doing 30 days of Proverbs, and she was just talking about it. She was not a preacher or anything like that, but she was talking about 30 days of Proverbs. So I probably go back and look at it now that Miss Coffee is saying, now read Proverbs 31. So I'm gonna go back and read that right there. But so far the rest of it has been we just been talking a little bit. I wouldn't say that I'm isolated, but I'm still inside of the shed. and still taking my time and not thinking about what anybody else wants me to do. I know my husband would love to have me back inside of the house, and I want to be back there, but I want to take it slow and make sure that I'm not moving, because a lot of times I can move and do things and I'm not doing them outside of me. Sometimes I feel there's like an anxiousness or something inside of my stomach of like, what is my husband gonna say if I do this or I do that? And right now, I have great consideration for how my husband feel and everything. But right now in this process, and I always have since the day that we got married and before then, have great consideration for him. But right now, I'm in a process where I'm trying to get balance. I need balance for me because I'm so over the top of thinking and considering him that I'll throw myself to the wayside and not think about me. And that's what I've been going through in a lot of processes. And I feel like, oh, I consider me all the time and everything. But no, when I go back and look at it, no, you haven't actually been considering yourself. You've been considering everybody else around you and throwing yourself to the wayside. So I'm trying to do something different. Um, I actually, one of my friends, husband left out of town. And so she was home alone and she was like, hey, would you and the kids like to come over and spend some time with me? So we actually left last night, which was a good time for me and my kids to get out, get into a different environment and break the ice between us or whatever. So we went over there when we spent the night over there with her, and then we went and did a little shopping today, and then we came back home. And actually this time when I left to go and do something, usually he get an attitude about me going to spend time with anybody. Actually on this time I was like, I was gonna go via a different way. He was like, nah, go ahead and take the go, go ahead, drive the car, go ahead, y'all go have a good time. So this time, and of course when I get that kind of response, I just want to jump right back in and be like, oh yes, he's receiving this well or whatever. But no, there's something on the inside of me this time that is saying, slow your roll, Shauna. Slow your roll, Shauna. I know you want to jump head over heels back and just think that everything is changed just like that, but just slow up and take your time. And so this time I'm taking my time. The whole time that I was over to my friend's house, there's this thing and this is going to be a part of my process, because I'm thinking, is he ready for us to come home? What is he doing? Is he mad because we over here? I mean, this is literally the process that I'm going through the whole time I'm there. So even though I went through that, I stayed over there today until almost 6:30 tonight. Went over there last night at 8 o'clock, and then I came home at 6:30 today. Not a great big old deal, but it's a big deal for me, because usually if I go somewhere, then I'll be in a rush or anxious and overthinking it and trying to get back here. And that feeling was in my stomach all day today, but I pushed it away and ignored it, which is something I'm going to have to eventually do. It doesn't feel good to me, because to me it feels like I'm ignoring my husband, which is not what I want to do. But I also don't want to be tied down and bogged down, and I can't go anywhere. So for the next couple of days, I am I have set up several things, and not that I can't just go and set up things every single day to go and do it, but I'm trying to set up something different than what I've usually been doing to get out of that feeling, which means going places and then coming back home later. And regardless of how it is that he feel, I'm not trying to antagonize him. I'm not trying to make him feel anywhere. What I want to do is I want to get rid of this feeling that is on the inside of me that I've been carrying around for a long time, because I am sick of it. I'm sick of it. I am a full grown adult and I should not be walking around with anxiety because I decide I'm going to have a good time with this person over here, a good time with this person over there, or I can't go somewhere and enjoy myself by myself sometimes, even if it's just to get out. So again, I want to say throughout this process is that I can tell you that this was something that I went through with my husband, but this is not about my husband. This is about me, because it don't have to be him. If somebody else want me to do something for them and they in a bad enough position, it's something on the inside of me that feels funny when I can turn them down and say no, that I won't do it. If even if I know that it's a need. So well, that might be a good idea, Miss Coffee, to get out of sleep. But you know what? That's something that my sister Shalissa do. She take herself out on dates alone by herself all the time. And so I told her, I said, when I grow up, one of these days I'm gonna be just like you. And she said, girl, I love it. Just going to, she don't need nobody to sit at the table with her. She just go by herself. It was like an Applebee's or anything. She just go in the morning time when she drop her kids off to school, when she finish her bus route in the morning time. Every time I talk to her in the morning time, she is always somewhere sitting, eating breakfast or something by herself. And I just ask her how I do it, because I feel like I need somebody to talk to. But you know what? If I look at it the same way that I do when I go out in the garden, I told y'all that's me and God's time. When I be out in the garden and I don't hit the live button talking to y'all, that's me and God's time. So why can't it be me and God's time if I take myself out to lunch or something? It's just something I've never been able to do. So I got to get used to this new normal that I'm going through. But it definitely is a process. And in it, I want to keep consideration for my husband, because I don't want to forget about him. I love that man. I've been with him for 25 years. Do I love all of his ways? Nope. But I love my husband. So and again, it's not about him. It's a process that I've had going on in the inside of me. And those of you all who know, when you've been through, when you do go, there goes Shalissa right there. When you've been through what I've been through, those situations and circumstances tell you that this is how you're supposed to feel on the inside. Because from the beginning, people have been doing things to you that is uncomfortable, and you really don't know how to react to it, because like you just too young to be having those things happen to you. So it gives you a reaction, but you so used to everything being uncomfortable, you be in uncomfortable situations all the time, and you just don't recognize it. But I'm starting to recognize things. Anytime I get that feeling in the pit of my stomach, I want to know what that feeling is about, because I want it to go. I don't got time for no anxieties and none of all of that stuff. So I'm always willing to face that thing dead on that hit me in the pit of my stomach. It just so happened that on that morning, my husband hit a target that I had already been paying attention to. As soon as that thing hit me in my stomach, it just sparked this new situation that I'm going through. And KS, thank you for saying that. I'm gonna come back to what you just said, because KS, that is something that I thought about too. Girl, it's an argument most of the time when I say I need some me time. And that's something I don't never get growing with Hudson, is me time, unless I gotta go out in the garden and I'm taking care of something else or whatever. And that's me time that I love. But like me time, I'm always in me time, thinking about everything else that I needed for somebody else. And I just want to have a me time where I ain't got to think about, like right now in the situation that I'm in, they still moving the same way they did before I came here, because I have not been inside of the house since I went in there and got the response that I got from my kids. So everything is still flowing the way that it was, and everything. And we just slowly working our way back into what it was before. And KS said it's called a trauma response. Absolutely, it is a trauma response. And what you all seen, the explosion of me cussing him out and saying all the stuff that I was saying to him, And trust and believe the things that I was saying, there is still a fight on the inside of me that's going on, because I already know that if I say the wrong thing, not that a lot of the things I was saying was not the wrong thing, but I was keeping it simple when I was going off on him. I wasn't saying stuff like degrading him, saying things about, calling him out his name. If you call and if he a MF or something like that, then that's called out of, then he was called out of his name. But I'm saying, in those times when I get hyped up like that, when you've been through a traumatic situations that I've been through from the past, there is an anger that comes up in you of all of that stuff from the past. But the thing that I do know on the inside of me is that anger that's sitting back there on the back of my neck, that's ready to just reach out and engulf the person that's in front of me. There is a ringing in my ear that always tells me, I know you want to pour this anger out on this person, but they do not deserve the anger that you ready to pour out on them. It doesn't belong to them. And so there is a constant fight for me not to pour those traumatic responses out onto somebody who did not help put them there. So that is like one of my greatest fights. I mean, somebody can get into something with me and it can barely give me a pinch. But when you got those 7 situations when you were a little kid and all of the other situations that followed behind it, and it's right there on the back of your neck, you will take that thing and you can take it and you can pour it out onto anybody. And the little thing that they did to you is so undeserving of what it is that you ready to pour out on them. And these people are unsuspecting that they're about to get what they get. But when you've been through the traumatic experiences, and I know some of you all that been through those situations know exactly what I'm talking about. There's like this thing that's on the inside of you, and I kind of don't want to call it an anger, but it's like an anger. It can be like a rage or whatever. Somebody do something to you and you deem them as like crossing you, just point blank period, crossing you, mistreating you or something. It's easy for that thing to come up and be like right in your ear, go ahead and do it, girl, go ahead and do it, girl. But you got to listen to the angel over here on this side that's saying, no, don't do it, girl, don't do it, girl. But this one over here still screaming, they trying, you go ahead and get them. And you still got to listen to this angel over here. It's like, Lord, help me, because I want to get them right now. I really want to get them. But again, you can't pass those traumatic, what you call it, KS? You can't pour the traumatic response out on somebody who does not deserve it. And for those of you all who let it, like my response done tried to come out in so many ways, because right now, God knows I'm supposed to be doing probably about 20 years in prison because my traumatic responses want to come up. And I swear there's been times that and in those times where I felt like I didn't want to fight it, God always strategically put somebody in place to stop me from going to those places. I know 2 instances where I could probably be doing a life sentence right now because I made a pact with myself. Nobody's ever going to do X, Y, and Z. And you can't tell everything about what you say. Nobody can do to you because you got some fool on here that might seek you out and try you and do those things. And God knows I don't need no extra people knowing what all of my little triggers and stuff is, so I won't say. But we all know that people that go through those types of situations, there is certain promises that you make to yourself. And if you even come close to any of those promises that I made to myself, you can set that trigger off in a heartbeat. And you might be knocking on the door you don't want to be answered. So um but KS, thank you for reminding me of that. And if you have yeah, that's a hard thing. I wouldn't even know what to tell somebody in those responses, because I just know it wasn't anything that somebody could say to me when I'm having one of those traumatic responses. There's nothing anybody can say to me. There has never been anything somebody could do. The only thing in those situations, the person, there's been one time, no, both times, the weapon was removed from my hand twice, and both of them could have cost me life in prison. My kids could have been in a bad situation or whatever. And I'm gonna just say, but God. That's all. There's no other way I can explain it. I always felt like I needed someone else there too. Like when I heard about going to the movies alone, I was like, what? No. But as I got older, I was like, you know what? This isn't bad at all. Yes, Savannah, I have to get into that. And my sister calls it dating herself. I'm taking myself on a date. I'm dating myself, girl. um, my me time is at work, there and back. All right, claim it how you claim it. I need to get into me some more me time. I actually feel guilty trying to get me time. Now, where does that come from? So I had to stop going everywhere my husband preached my whole life, be church. Did it Friday, Saturday, and tomorrow, but don't look for me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. LOL. I know that's right. Get a break in there. Get a break in there. Then go back to the word, girl. Going back to the word. Right, not too many specifics, but the shake up soda was ready to pop at that point, and we still consider it when we pop off. Yeah, that thing be like baking soda and vinegar mixed together sometimes, and sometimes I don't know how to stop it from praying. Let me tell you something. Before I came home, I had a straight week of, because there's also situations that I told y'all, I came from a place where I'm used to being quiet. Uh, she lying or this and this. Everybody want to keep you quiet. Then I went to a place of where, like in my family, I am very vocal, and I speak on things that nobody else won't speak on or any of that. Well, this past weekend we buried a family member, and Lord knows I spent the 3 weeks prior to that funeral praying over myself and asking God to keep my mouth quiet. When I tell you that's exactly what happened, I can definitely tell you that I went there, and a lot of people I didn't even say one word to them. Some of them was my own children. Not one word. I didn't say hi, and I didn't say bye. Now, some of you may not understand that concept. How could you go in front of your kids and don't speak to them? Well, I'm telling you, I did it, and one day we might get back into it. But some of you already know, because you've listened to some of the things that I've been with some of my kids. So I went there, and I was able to stay quiet when sometimes in other situations I'm the one that's speaking, so much so that people was calling me behind the scenes, Shauna, can you do this, can you do this? Nope, because right now I'm asking God to keep my mouth quiet. Don't call me, ask me to do nothing. Everybody in the family calling me when something ain't working out one way. Let's get Shauna. She know how to talk it out with Shauna staying quiet right now. You don't even know how I was trying to get me time. I had things pulling on me, left, right, front, back, every which way of everything to make me not stay focused on what I have going on right now in my moment. So if you trying to get into yourself and a whole bunch of other stuff, sometimes you got to turn the outside. Sometimes you got to turn the outside world off and let them take care of their own self while you take care of you. That's what I had to do. So your testimony is my KS. That testimony is a lot of people's testimony. I have not even told all of the stories. And two, while I was at the funeral, I know I told y'all the story about, and I kind of figured that when I go to this funeral, because anytime I go back home, it just always happens. I always end up running into one of my violators every single time. And for whatever reason, they like to be able to speak to me as if I forgot what they did. And so at one point, one of them we're relatives with. One moment this person shows up and everybody like, hey, let's go over here. No, y'all going on over there and do y'all thing. I won't be going over there. And it's not like none of them don't know. But it's like, you know how in families or whatever, you can have somebody in your family that be touching on people. And then some kind of way they still get invited to the cookouts and everything. And they think you supposed to party with them as if you done forgot. Or they all done forgot what the hell happened. No, when we in those situations, no, y'all going on over there and chill with them. But see, remember, I got a story of something that happened with that there. I won't be going over there. So fine and dandy, everybody flows over there and go and check on him and see how he doing or whatever. I don't go over there and say anything. The next thing I know, I'm over here sitting off by myself, all by myself, being quiet, not saying anything. And the next thing I know, he peeking around the car, talking about some, hey, Tashana, how you doing? What? Well, you better go ahead and leave me the hell alone, because this a bad time to be playing. Things ain't going right with my husband. I ain't been home in a month and everything else. Well, you better go on and leave me alone. You don't. Lord, you better help me right now. I've been praying my mouth to be quiet. Let him go on somewhere now. And he scooted on down the line. But every time I go back home, every time, I always run into one of the people who was touching on me as a little kid. And I want them to know I didn't forget any of the things. I actually told my sister. I ain't gonna tell y'all about that story yet, because I can see myself. I know I told y'all about the one guy who came to my mom's funeral and gave me a hug. I told my sister, I want an opportunity to hug him again. See, none of y'all don't know nothing about that right there. I would hug him in the same way that he hugged me at my mama's funeral. But it'll be a little bit different. It'll be a little different. And the only thing is, he'll be able to hug me, and I would hug him back this time. But it wouldn't work out the same way. Because, see, along with that hug, I would whisper a couple of words in his ear, like, grab him around his neck and hold on to his neck and say, you think I forgot what you did to me? I remember everything. I remember your blue car. I even remember the smell. I ain't forget what you did to me. And I would hold on to him extra long so the people around would know, dang, that was an awfully long, awkward hug. Absolutely it was. But when I finished with him, I would be done took all of my energy back that I gave to him, where I called myself all kinds of stupid whores and bitches because he hugged me at my mama's funeral when I wasn't strong enough. But I told my sister I would absolutely give him a hug again. because I ain't the same person who he hugged back when my mama had passed away. I'm not her. See, I would take my power back this time. Absolutely, Savannah. And can you imagine if you whispering in the ear of a person who kidnapped you and did the things to me that he did? If I was able to whisper in his ear and hang on to him longer than what he wanted to hang on to me to give me a hug, can you feel the energy of that right there? That I'm now the one whispering in his ear where he thought that he acting as if I don't remember what he did. I just took everything back from him. I feel like I took everything back from him and I ain't even touch him. But my sister asked me, what if he tried to hug me again? I say, I absolutely would hug him again, but it'll be different. It definitely would be different. Yep. So, and I just want to say to everybody who's been in that position, which I know a lot of people is up under here because they know about those situations. There is going to be a moment in your life where you're going to figure out how to take your energy back, how to take your power back from that person that you think has all the power, get all the power to control your emotions and all of that stuff. Nope. You'll have a time when you'll be thinking about those things and you'll see in another way. And how could God not be pleased with you giving him back a hug? And you giving him a hug, but you just whispering things in his ear and giving it right back to him. You ain't making him embarrassed in front of nobody. No, none of that stuff. I'm just telling you, I remember. I remember. Yeah, 100%, Savannah. He'll be scared for the rest of his days. And actually, when I said that to my sister, that's absolutely what I said. Where I've been tormented for 46 years of my life because of what these people did to me. And wouldn't it be just the thing that I've been haunted for 46 years by the traumatic things that's happening to me? And I finally get to give what they say, return to sender. I would finally get to be able to return it to sender. And I don't know the power I feel in just saying that. I feel like I don't really need him to be there for me to whisper in his ear. But I would love for God to give me the opportunity if he see fit for that to happen for me. Because I would love to whisper in his ear. There was a point in my life that I felt like I wanted to set him up so that I could do some things to him. And to come from that place to where I am thinking now, instead of wanting to cause harm to him, I just want to whisper in his ear. That's all I want to do. Before there was some things that my thought process had went down, and I don't think any of them stick out the way this one particular person does. But there's days that I sat down and I've thought about things that I want to do to him. There's things because they friends with our family, bring him on in and invite him to a cookout and just let his eyes wander the wrong way and I can take one of them out. I've thought of all kinds of things in my mind to now be in a place of where I'm not thinking in that way anymore. I'm thinking about hugs. Now ain't God good? God is good. My child's father is scared of me now when I got older, but my daughter is working with him against me. So, but God knows the truth. Savannah, I got a situation, something similar to that. I told you that and not really similar to that, but sometimes you have to let loose, even with your kids. Sometimes you have to turn them loose. You have to, because sometimes they don't even want to be held. They just want to rip and run and do whatever it is that they want to do. And sometimes you have to walk away from it, trust God with it, and keep on going. That's absolutely what I did. I'm telling you, I looked two of my daughters right in the face this weekend and I didn't say nothing. And I've never done that before. Usually I greet, whether they mad at me or not, I always greet them, give them a hug, kiss them on the forehead or kiss them on the cheek. Not this time. Not this time. Sometimes you gotta switch it up. You can't keep doing the same thing every time because there's expectations out there on the table. Oh, she just gonna do this and she just gonna do that. Nah, you gotta switch it up. You can't let your opponent know how you gonna move this time. And surprise, surprise, I didn't say anything. So when they working against you, Savannah, all you do is jump on God's team and you pray for them and keep on moving. They'll figure it out after a while. And how much I really loved her. Absolutely. You visit people, Tashana, and you visit people, Tashana, they gonna be scared. Well, we gonna see it. And I don't want anybody to be afraid of me. I'm just I want to, the stuff that I've been holding on the inside of me forever and a day, I just want to get rid of it. I want to be free. I want to live in peace. I want to be peaceful. But sometimes circumstances and stuff don't allow you to roll in that way. So, but I am happy to be in the place that I am in right now. I'm not 100%, but we are working on the things that we have in front of us right now. And eventually we will get back there. So I hope this is, and it's a husband, it's your husband, and every now and then they do things that get on your nerve or whatever. And you let it be and you go, hey babe. uh Speaking of, yes sir. I, yeah, I want to be on probably about another 10 minutes. But not that you forever in a day, like you're going to have situations, you're going to have up and down with your husband, but I just want to be in a place where that I wouldn't have to come back on here and do that again, what I did, because I don't like arguing with my husband. One thing I like, I can argue with anybody on the outside, and I don't be wanting to argue with them either, but I definitely be wanting to be peaceful in my household. I definitely do. So you all that's been praying for us, and I tell y'all, whatever you pray for me, good, bad, wrong, indifferent, all of that good stuff, I would hope that I would never have to say tenfold to something that you're sending my way. But for those of you all who are sending up prayers for us and positive things for us, I pray and ask God that He return it to you tenfold in the mighty name of Jesus. That's what I pray for you as you pray that for me. And when I say it, I truly believe that whatever you asking for me, you're going to get it tenfold, 10 times what you asking Him for me. And for that, I thank you all for that, because I absolutely need it. And I feel the prayers. I feel like I got a team of people that are behind me. And so that means that whenever one of your processes or something come up, that you're going to go through it with a breeze, and you're going to have all this information that you already need to get through your thing. And hopefully we done said some things that help you get through the process, because to reset and restart, a lot of people need to hear that, because a lot of us don't know how to reset and restart. We only know how to continue on with what we already got. But no, you can definitely cut it off and start over again. And let me say one more thing. The garden is completely, the tomatoes and all of that kind of stuff like that you put in the ground. All of that stuff is absolutely brown and shriveled up and everything. And I even said, Right now, I don't even feel like gardening. There is nothing that I say that I ain't gonna go out there tomorrow and do no nothing. But it's like every place I've gone is like somebody want to walk back here through the to the clothesline with me. Walk back there to the clothesline. They got a garden back there. You go over to somebody's house. They got these little funny looking flowers that, but I want to know about them. I'm interested in. It's like everywhere I go, there is encouragement to, girl, you know, you got to get back in it. But there's absolutely times that I just feel like I don't want to. And I've had this feeling before. And I'm telling you, every time I've had the feeling, my garden came back bigger and stronger every single time. So I know that in time, I'm going to get back out there and the garden is going to be gardening again. Remember, we got our garden bed out there that I had started on there. I didn't finish it. I got all of the things and stuff that I need to start it with. But in due time, we will be back out growing in the garden again. But I'm definitely going to show y'all what the garden looked like and how it just all went up. So, yes, garden reset. And we gonna do that. So I just know that y'all out here, I've been seeing like a couple of people and everything that I've been coming through and I've been looking, and it makes me smile, even though I'm feeling like in the place that I'm in that I'm not really growing anything. But y'all know before I had left, I had planted some squash and zucchini. So they had grown up a little bit. I did go outside and I did take some of them out of the little bitty things that they put it in, and I put them in a 5 gallon bucket to give them a little bit more room to grow. And we're gonna see what those do. But it's a start that I played in the dirt just a little bit. So um girl, I got squash or zucchini popping out now. I'm so freaking happy. There you go. Shalissa got it. Shalissa say her garden is going ahead and doing this thing. So that was another garden. Shalissa garden helped me to. It was beautiful to see that when I went to her house, she was like, she had this little garden that are now expanding into bigger and better things with her up potting her things, and she just so happy with growing. And I'm just like, y'all really trying to get me back in the garden, right? So eventually we gonna be out there and we gonna be growing together. But for right now, we got all our fruits and everything, and we just gonna continue to grow. And as I continue to grow and you all continue to grow, we gonna pray for each other that we can stay on this growth journey, because ain't nothing like some growth. growth, growth. Let's keep growing. So hopefully everybody is growing, and maybe you've heard something in here tonight that helps you continue on your journey that you're going on to continue to grow. Hopefully that's what I did, and if not this time, next time. But I like to thank each and every one of you all for coming over here and spending time with Life with Tashana. Well, life is like a box of chocolate, and y'all know it is. Because one day we can be screaming, one day we can be smiling, another day we can be crying, and another day you just don't even know where we gonna be. But it's like a box of chocolate over here. We are living real life. So and we try and make sure we're growing stuff all the time over here. We are considered the high class gardeners over here, and that just means we try and make sure we keep growing stuff out in the garden and stuff, growing some kind of food, making some kind of survival situations or whatever for your life. And whatever we growing on the outside, we try to make it match whatever place we grow into in our life. See, one part of my situation, one part of my life is just died off and reset. I've started over. So right now my garden is showing that it's dead right now. So now what we got to do is go out there and we got to restart. So that's what we going to do, and we going to get to that pretty soon. We'll just see. You all will know when the camera comes on that we back out in the garden. But right now we're going to take us a little bit of time. But the high class part just means we don't play around with bugs, snakes, and worms. And that's in real life. You know, people out there represent those kinds of things. We just don't mess with them. We don't mess with that stuff for real, out in the garden. Now they say, Miss Shauna, how you a gardener and you scared of all of those things? Honey child, one of them things is, especially when it come down to the snake. My husband coming out there to get rid of the snake. But Shauna don't mess with any of those stuff. And in real life, we don't mess with those things. So if you're interested in being a high class gardener, come on over here and chill with us from time to time. We friendly folks over here. Praying friendly folks over here. So you know, if that's the kind of things you into, y'all come on over here, like, share, and subscribe over here. And until next time, see y'all lovely folks later. And I appreciate every last one of y'all. Y'all have an awesome